Well, welcome to the show. Tonight, an interesting show. We've got one of our local physicians who's sort of making a name for himself on local media, Dr. Timothy Quinn. He's going to be talking about health in general and some specific tips for our viewers to stay healthy. And also in our second segment, Mr. Jay Lake from Carter Jewelers talks about jewelry investments. After this.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Well, Dr. Timothy Quinn with us. Doctor, thank you for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You know, we talked about what your grandfather told you when you were growing up, and basically to bring the word about medicine to the people.
Yeah, inform the people and help them, you know, because the thing is, if you're blessed with, you know, retention as far as going to school and remembering information, and you get those degrees and that training, you want to spread it and help people have that information so that they can live a healthier life.
Well, knowledge is power.
It really is.
It can save a life if they know, if a person knows what to do or the symptoms or how to handle things.
Right.
Now, diet is, we've talked about that before. Diet and exercise are two important elements to health. Tell us a little bit about what modern medicine is thinking regarding a good diet.
Right. Well, the deal is we talk about diet and exercise. And honestly, you know, you can exercise all you want, but if your diet is not good, you're not going to be as successful. You know, diet is so important. In my opinion, diet is more important than exercise. I'm not saying don't exercise.
Can I make an observation? You know, going to the gym, there are some folks who work out, but they still overweight.
Oh, yeah.
And I see these people on the treadmill going and huffing and puffing, and literally they have not lost that 100 pounds
diet
yet.
Diet is important,
but they must be eating the wrong thing when they get home.
Yeah, a lot of cases they might be beelining straight to the Popeye's chicken or the churches or whatnot. But the bottom line is diet is important. Now, here's the deal. There's no diet that's universal to everyone because different people have different lifestyles and whatnot. So I try to stay away from the word diet. It's more of a lifestyle modification. It's not so much, you know, what you eat, but it's how you eat. Now, everybody has a metabolic rate. You know, I'm not going to tell my age right now, but I'm certainly not 20 years old. When I was 20, I could just about eat anything and never gain weight. But as you get older, you know, your metabolism slows down. Well, the deal is, what can you do to combat that? Well, what you can do is you can change how you eat. I have a lot of patients that'll tell me that they skip breakfast, they skip lunch, and they're still gaining weight, and they just don't understand, why don't I lose the weight? And I tell them that you're working against yourself. I eat every 3 hours, religiously. It doesn't matter what's going on, I'm going to stop and eat. And I'm not going to eat a big meal, but I'm going to put something in my stomach. Let's talk about that person that eats dinner at 7 o'clock at night. They wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's 12 hours, correct? Let's say they eat lunch at noon. That's another 5 hours. So you're looking at 17 hours with no nutrition. The first thing your body is going to do is going to slow the metabolism down, because you're sending a message to your brain that you're going to go long periods of time without eating, so your natural metabolic rate is automatically going to slow down. You're not going to burn calories as fast as someone who eats frequently throughout the day. I mean, you have an autonomic nervous system that makes it so that you can survive. If you turn the lights off, your pupils will dilate so you can see in the dark. You don't think about it. These are natural survival mechanisms that just occur. So if you go long periods of time without eating, your metabolism is just going to slow down. The second thing that's going to happen is, if you go long periods without eating, you're going to store more fat. That's that autonomic nervous system making it so you can survive through long periods of time. The third thing that's going to happen, when you go to that dinner, it's like on Sundays, I go to my mom's house. My brother, he gets a big plate of food, and I get a small plate of food. It's about 2 o'clock. He's like, man, how do you eat so healthy, man? You don't want all this extra food? And I say, well, David, when's the last time you ate? And he'll always say, last night. And I say, well, why didn't you eat anything today? I was saving up for this. Well, you're going to eat a lot because it's hard to make good decisions if you've gone 17 hours without anything to eat. And me, on the other hand, I'll get up on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. and maybe have a couple of, boiled eggs and a little bit of grits, maybe eat half a sandwich at 11 o'clock. So when I get to my mom's house at 2 o'clock, I'm not starving. So I can eat the healthy food.
Well, this is such great advice. Now, I'm guilty of that right there. I used to be better about it, but over these last couple of years, I find myself busy and putting off eating, and throughout the day don't eat. And when I go home, I eat too much and I go to sleep.
And you're gonna make you're not gonna make the best decision because you're thinking with your hunger.
Right.
But if you eat every 3 hours, you never really get hungry. So you just eat healthy. Now, one thing you got to do is, like, if I go to a restaurant and they bring my food out, I'll tell them to put half of it on the plate and put the other half in a to-go plate. And the lady will always, if it's a new restaurant, the restaurants I go, they know I'm crazy, so they just do it. But the new restaurants, they'll say, but sir, we'll just bring you a to-go plate at the end. I say, ma'am, if you bring me a to-go plate at the end, there's going to be nothing to go in that to-go plate because I'm going to tear it all up. So what you have to do is only put the food in front of you that you're going to eat, and that way you won't have a choice but to only eat that amount. And you notice, when I go to my mom's house, I get a saucer. I don't get a plate because that way it's easier to control your amount of food by eating smaller amounts and only allowing yourself to have smaller amounts.
Now, I think what you just mentioned, all of that, a lot of us have heard that. We kind of have come across that information, but it's different when you hear the doctor say it specifically, like you just did.
Well, the bottom line is if you implement these lifestyle changes with the small, frequent meals, and notice when I go to the restaurant, I only eat half of the food. Yeah. That's what I do 3 hours later.
You eat the
other half, or eat it for my first meal at 11 o'clock in the morning. You spread it out, and they actually did a research study where they gave 2 groups of people 1,500 calories. One group they cut it in half, so they ate half at noon and the other half at night. The second group they gave 300 calories 5 times a day, so both ate the same amount. But the group that ate the 5 times a day, the 300 calories, as opposed to the 750 twice, they lost more weight. And guess what? They cheated less too. It can be done, and it really works. But it's something that you have to incorporate. And if you're very busy, you just have to be, strict to it and just do it some kind of way.
What about things like protein bars? They're easy, and there's a lot of protein.
I keep them in my car. I keep them in my bags. So when I don't have time to eat a meal, I eat a protein bar.
And that's okay?
That's okay. You just want to get some kind of nutrition coming in. And another thing, you want to prepare the night before. So, I might make a sandwich, cut it in half, eat half, and some maybe some carrots, but all day you want to eat little things, and I do the protein shakes too. Those are some of my meals in between.
Okay, let's talk about protein shakes. That's an easy way to do it, and it's high protein, it's great nutrition. Give us a scenario through the day. If you're going to incorporate protein shakes and food, give us an ideal scenario.
Right, I understand. What I do is I try to do 300 calories per feeding. So when I get up in the morning, somewhere around 300 calories, but I'll eat maybe 2 boiled eggs, the little instant grits in the pack, and maybe 1 piece of veggie sausage, and mix it all up and eat it real quick. Then when I get to work, around 11 o'clock, I'll probably have a protein shake that's right at 300 calories. They have a really good one at Smoothie Clean called the Gladiator. It has about 45 grams of protein at about less than 300 calories.
Wow, that's great.
Then about maybe 2 o'clock, I might have like a sandwich, or I eat the lean cuisines. I know they have a little high sodium, but I drink nothing but water, no beverages, because beverages, those are ways to get calories that are unnecessary and unusable.
You mean beverages with calories?
Right, like Coca-Cola or iced tea from McAllister's Deli.
What about diet Coca-Cola or diet Pepsi?
Well, I've never really gotten into that. I just drink water, that way I don't have to ask any questions, but the diet is better than the regular Coke.
Right.
So
because of the sugar, right?
And the thing is, you got to be realistic. If you're drinking Cokes every day, you want to try to go to the diet. That's a step. So you got to take baby steps. You can't just go cold turkey. But around 2 o'clock, I'll have the sandwich or the lean cuisine or something. and then about 7 o'clock at night, I just have a really small dinner, maybe a small piece of meat and some vegetables. Now, a trick that I've incorporated, and I've been doing it for the last couple of years, I eat fruit every night before I go to bed.
Okay, so the last meal you eat is what time?
Well, 7 o'clock is dinner, around 7-ish, and then at night, though, I'll eat that fruit.
Okay, what do you eat at what time?
Maybe about 10:30 or 11 o'clock before I go to bed, I'll eat a lot of grapes or maybe an orange or something, because with this diet, you know, you're going to get a little hungry at night because, you know, you don't have a lot of storage. So if you eat the fruit before you go to bed, it helps it, you know, so you stay full. You won't wake up in the night, you know, looking for food.
Right. Because eating late at night is not a good thing, is it?
No, but if you eat the fruit
the fruit
is a good way.
Eating the wrong thing late at night.
Eating the wrong thing,
which is easy to do once again, like ice cream.
Another thing you got to do is get all that stuff out your. I don't have anything in my house. Now my daughter, she comes pretty much every weekend. She's a 13-year-old little girl, so I'm not going to tell her not to eat ice cream or little stuff because she's a little girl, you know. But what I do is when she comes, we might stop by the grocery store, and you know, if she wants to get a couple of things that are not the most healthy, I might let her get a little bit. But when she leaves, if some of it's left, I put it in that bag and I send it home with her. Because I don't even want it in the house because I don't want to have that temptation.
Right. It's easy to be tempted with the wrong things, which are usually the things that taste great.
I tell my patients to go home with a big old garbage bag and just throw all that stuff away. Just
keep it out of the house.
That way, if it's not there, when you get up at night, or you won't be tempted because it's not there.
I did the same thing when my girls were growing up. It was very easy to have cookies and all that kind of stuff. Well, we made a policy. I stopped buying all that stuff.
Right.
And you know what? You get used to it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have it after you don't have it.
You do.
You know, I mean, so.
Well, the bottom line is, you know, if you make those dietary changes, as far as what to eat, you just use your common sense.
Right.
I ask patients all the day, let's just do a little test. Hamburger, healthy, yes or no? You know the answer.
Right.
Subway sandwich, healthy, yes or no? And, you know, if you get a Subway sandwich without all the dressings and things, it's healthy. So
well, it's a good alternative.
The thing is, you know, you get to Piccadilly's, you're at the end of the line, and would you like some bread? You know, that garlic bread, you could mash it, it's just grease, or want some dessert, you know, but if you go to Piccadilly's, you can make a healthy selection. I go to Piccadilly's all the time.
Right.
It's just, you just have to make the right choices, and as I say, we know it's healthy. Every time we eat bad, we know it.
Right, we do. That was the good stuff that we.
Yeah, the good stuff. Forget about the good.
I'm just joking, but yes, thank you, Doc, for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And we always look forward to your insight into staying healthy.
Staying healthy.
Okay, thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Timothy Quinn. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after this.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Dr. Timothy Quinn with us, and today we're going to talk a little bit about breast cancer and the guidelines that women should follow as far as getting checked up.
Right. Well, breast cancer, it's advised that every woman at the age of 40 get a screening mammogram in addition to the breast, manual exam at the physician's office. This is very important because if breast cancer is diagnosed early, the person's life can be saved.
Why is there such a high incidence of breast cancer today?
Well, the deal is, unfortunately, especially in the state of Mississippi disproportionately, we're not going and getting those screening mammograms at the level that we should. So the deal is, when women are being diagnosed, in a lot of cases, it's too late. They can feel, like they'll come and you'd say they can feel a mass. Well, chances are it's probably already spread at that point.
So you want to catch it on the microscopic level?
That is correct. You want to catch it on the microscopic level. The mammogram, for a lot of women, they say it might be uncomfortable, it's painful, it's humiliating. But I'm telling you, for all those women out there in the listening audience, if you have breast cancer that has metastasized to other organs, you can't measure the pain. So, it's really important to go get that mammogram because it can diagnose the breast cancer at the microscopic stages, and that person's life can be saved.
So if they diagnose it at that level, at the microscopic stage, what is the treatment to eradicate it?
Well, in some cases, you know, they'll do what's called a ultrasound guided biopsy, and basically they can take the mass out, and what they do is they do a pathological exam to look at the surrounding tissue, and if all the surrounding tissue is cancer free, in some cases that's pretty much the end of it. Sometimes they'll do a CT scan or MRI to look for lymph node involvement, but that person might get a small dose of chemo or radiotherapy. But the key is to diagnose it early, because if you diagnose it early, in most cases that person's life can be saved. But the only way that can happen is if women go and get those timely mammogram screenings.
So mammograms are the way to go.
Oh, most definitely.
That's the best way, right?
That's the best way. Now, before getting a mammogram, you know, the patient will go see their physician and get the breast exam. But it's so funny because I had a patient recently that said, you know, you did the breast exam, you didn't feel anything, why should I go get the mammogram? But what I explained to her was, even though I didn't feel anything, you still want to get the mammogram because the mammogram can pick it up before it can even be felt by the human hand.
It could be as small as a pencil, the head of a pencil.
Microscopic.
Amazing.
Even so small you can't even see it with the naked eye. But the good news is, if you get it diagnosed at that stage, it can be removed in the surrounding tissue, and you're safe.
That's great. Doctor, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Timothy Quinn, and we'll be right back after this. Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507. Well, we've got the young jeweler from Carter Jewelers, Mr. Jay Lake. Jay, thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Edward, for having me.
Now, I know that your kids are watching, so you want to say hello?
Yeah, I want to say hey to my son, Walker, and my daughters, Ann Campbell and Della. I love y'all.
Now, Jay, you are a second-generation jeweler. I guess you've got particular insight into jewelry because you're in the business. Is jewelry a good investment? In other words, if I was going to use my the process of buying jewelry going forward, but also looking at it as a means of investing, for example, buying gold and stuff, is that a good strategy?
I wouldn't say it's a strategy for investments, but it is always worth something. It's always of a value. Like our suits are probably not worth anything right now. Everything else we have, but it is of value, especially the higher end, larger diamonds. Those hold their value, longer than anything else. And
what about gold, though? I mean, you would think that, if you're buying gold and using it as jewelry, even, but it's still gold.
I think if you buy it on the stock market, that's a pretty good investment. And they have silver on the stock market also.
Right.
You can buy gold. But you're paying retail prices.
Right.
But
the price of gold is going up, though, right?
Right. So if you bought it like 5-10 years ago, it'd probably double the value.
Well, that's what I mean. It's not a bad investment.
It's not.
I mean, in other words, if you're buying gold, even at a few years ago's prices, or even at today's prices, 10 years from now, if that gold has gone up 50%, then even if you bought it at retail, the chances are you're moving forward. In other words, it's not a bad investment.
Right,
gold,
especially if it's a good quality piece.
And the same with diamonds, and probably maybe even more so with diamonds.
And it hasn't been worn out too bad,
They say diamonds are a girl's best friend. Do you believe that?
I know it.
Now, why do you say that? Do you have some particular insight into that theory?
Edward, they love diamonds.
Do they?
They come in and you can feel the excitement. How when we go to like a football game or something, and you can see the excitement with the guys, or we're we're smiling, we're happy.
Right.
They sometimes they shake. Sometimes they love it.
It has that type of
Especially when they
effect.
find the right one.
So
you can see it in their eyes light up and dilate a little bit.
But what is it, because of the beauty of the diamond that the people have this reaction, or is it because of the value of the diamond?
It's a mystery to men. We don't. they love it. I mean, I guess makes them beautiful. I started liking it. I got some diamonds on myself, and I really enjoyed wearing them, and they sparkle like.
I like them too. I think they're fabulous. It's great. I mean, it's beautiful, and it's everlasting. I mean, diamonds, they don't go away. They're
rare and special.
They're rare and they are special. Yeah. Exactly right.
It's something you don't need.
Something you absolutely do not need.
That's what makes it real special.
It makes it special. I mean, if you've got a diamond, it's something that it's sort of like a luxury item.
Right. It's not one of the 4 basic needs of staying alive.
So, how long have you been in the business? I know your father, Jerry, has been in the jewelry business for a number of years, and he brought you in now, right?
He started out as a wholesaler, and so as growing up, he was a wholesaler, traveling, all across the United States, and he would be gone for weeks at a time. And when I was about, say, 14 or 15, he decided to go into the retail business, and that's when he bought his first store, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And he had that for a little while, and I helped him out there during Christmas, and he taught me a few things, how to price some of the charms and a few other items, and I got to wait on customers and call them, that kind of things. And even in college, he bought more stores, and I continued to help him out, and I liked it, and I decided that's what I was going to do. So at college, I took marketing and management at the University of Alabama, and I'll try to relate that back to the retail jewelry business, the best I could.
So you meet a lot of people who are getting married because they're buying engagement rings and such. So it's kind of an intimate sale when you are dealing with people on that level.
It's a real fun waiting on this. People getting married, talking to them, and learning how they met, how long they've been dating. Everybody's got a good story on how they met. Today I met a couple. They've been married 29 years, and I was like, "How'd y'all meet?" And she's like, "Well, I was going to look at some bikes for my grandson, and I went back in the back room to look at the used bikes, and that's where I met my husband. He was a mechanic back there, and she said he hit on me." I was like, "Yeah, he did."
Right in the middle of the store there, huh? Right in the bike store there.
I was like, "He don't get too many women coming in the back room."
No, when you go back there, you don't know what's going to happen back there. So they ended up getting married.
Yeah, and they've been married for 29 years.
Wow.
So I've had some married for 50 years, and I think one or two 75 years.
So do you feel like you found your calling? You're going to be in that business now, right?
Yeah, I've been here for over 15 years in Jackson, and Carter's have been here since 1849. Just the other day, one of the ladies that used to work at the store downtown in the 70s, she was the gift wrapper when she was 17 years old. She's 72 now. I believe her name is Pearl. She came in and was shopping with us. She's like, "I used to gift wrap at the downtown one, and we have the pictures of the old store, inside our store now." I was like, I pointed at them, and she said, "Yeah, that was it." And it was 2 stories, and they used to watch the parades come by on the second story, and she said she loved it.
Well, Carter Jewelers would be going back to the time of the horse and buggies, I guess, at that point. I don't think.
Yeah,
there's no automobiles.
Everybody had the top hats on, and the buggies. It was a good life back then.
Isn't that
so I heard. I don't know.
That's a long time for a business to survive and to keep the same name for all those years. It's really amazing. It's an amazing story.
We've had our employees. I guess everybody loves working at Carter's. It's a good place to work, and we've had all our employees have been there for most of them over 10 years, some 35 years right now.
Wow.
And even back then, they liked it.
Well, we are happy that you took the time to come on, and thank you for being with us. And it's always fun to see you, Jay, and your dad too, who's quite an entrepreneur. He's been successful through the years. Of course, we see you guys on television all the time, and so we wanted to have you on the show today.
Great job. I love working with him, and I love working with you, Edward.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, man. And we want to have you back, and we'll
I'd
talk
love
from
to come
time
back.
to time about what's going on in the jewelry business. In
Absolutely.
particular, I have the idea that jewelry is an investment. So I mean, you wear it, and it's all very beautiful and everything. But also, if you do it right,
you'll keep your wife happy for a long time.
Right.
That's a good investment right there.
That's a good investment, peace of mind.
Keep yourself happy,
Keep yourself happy, right? Okay.
Keep yourself looking good.
So we'll see you soon. Thank you for coming with us, and we'll be right back with more of Nightique after this. Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507. Well, thanks for joining us for this edition of Nightique. On an ongoing basis, we want to have Dr. Quinn on with us to give us tips on how to stay healthy and how to do the right things diet-wise and all the things we should do to stay healthy. And Dr. Quinn can help us. And also, Jay Lake, we want to have him back. Jay will teach us how to make valuable investments in jewelry going forward. See you next time on Nightique.